Hi, I'm Jodine Shear of Lifeology, your transformation guide and coach, talking about Chiron, the wounded healer, and why it is so important during 2021 to pay attention to this energy and the opportunity for us to heal our deep wounds, not only personally, but within the planet and to support others to heal their own. Here we go. Chiron is such an interesting, it's a comet, and it floats around as an icy ball in the in between Saturn and Uranus in the sky, it's actually very important, the two places that it sits, because within that, Saturn is the last seen planet and Uranus is the first unseen planet. But Saturn is all about letting go of the past, and Uranus is about projecting ourselves into the future. So it's a very interesting space where Chiron orbits. But on top of that, the mythology of Chiron is so interesting, and I'm really excited to share it with you. But so is the way that it orbits, that it moves through the signs within the space of years and years and years. Little bit of my mythology about Chiron, and you can do so much reading up about it, is that Chiron is the wounded healer. And within mythology, at Chiron's birth, he was already born different. So he is one of the centaurs, but he was born half man, half horse. They all were, but he had the front of his body was more human than all of the rest. Chiron was immortal, and he suffered a great deal. Even though he was an incredible teacher and an incredible healer, he even impacted the lives of, I've got everything written down here, he even impacted the lives of Achilles, Perseus, Hercules, and Phoenix. So he was extremely important, extremely powerful, a deep healer. But there were so many personal wounds that he had to deal with through his time. Chiron was also immortal. And the depth of the story, once you get through all of the mythology into the story, when you get to the real core and the essence of it, is that in Chiron's immortality, he was shot with a poison arrow by Hercules. So there was a really big betrayal, and then more betrayal, and then this wound, and he couldn't die. So the essence of Chiron is this eternal suffering from this poisoning that Chiron eternally lives with up within the solar system. And now for the orbit. Chiron moves very quickly through some of the planets, some of the signs, but then much, much slower through other signs. And it's for such an important reason. So Chiron spends about 1 to 1.5 years in all of the zodiac signs, except for Pisces and Aries. In Pisces and Aries, Chiron spends between 7 to 9 years. And this is why it's so important, because in Pisces, where Chiron spends its first long amount of time, this is the space where we have the ability to tap into our unconscious and to really go into the space of higher beliefs and build up in those 7 years the foundation of our beliefs and the connection that we have deep within ourselves, a heightened level of consciousness and awareness, in order for us to prepare for the healing that can really happen in Aries. Okay, and then Chiron stays in Aries for the longest time, between 8 and 9 years. It really stays for a long time. When Chiron is in Aries, it's deeply personal. It becomes extremely personal. It becomes all about the I am. How am I healing? And then we get to witness the wound that we ultimately need to heal. Now, there's no guesswork in this wound. We have the ability to know exactly where Chiron is. And if you take a look at the blog post that I created, it's got everything that you need in order to understand where Chiron is in your birth chart. If you haven't run a birth chart, it's really easy to do. You can just pop online and search to run a free natal chart. Otherwise, you can reach out to me, and I'm very happy to help you do it, because there's two ways in which I've done the blog post for you. You can just have all the dates. So when you look at your dates, you'll see exactly where Chiron was at the time of your birth. It's quite a simple table because it spends so long in the different Pisces and Aries. So we just have a nice little list of everything that you need. But if you are born on the particular day that Chiron moves from one sign to the next, it's important to run the chart so that you can see whether you are sitting in that Pisces or in that Aries, or in as it's moved the different signs on the day. If you don't have the time, it's fine. If you don't have your exact time, it's fine. What you can do is you can read both of them and you can see which one relates to you more. And it's very distinct. The difference between being a Virgo and being a Libra, you'll spot. The difference between Chiron being in Libra and in Scorpio, you will definitely spot. So allow yourself to figure out where Chiron sits within your chart. When you understand that, you will be able to have a look at where your wound sits. So at the time of your birth, where Chiron was, will show you the wound that is going to come up in this lifetime. But if your belief system works the same as mine, and if it's different, it's absolutely fine. If you believe in past lives, then the DNA, woven within our DNA and deep in our subconscious, is memory of the wounds that we have brought in from the different lifetimes, from past lifetimes. And we have the opportunity in every lifetime, if we know where Chiron is, we do the work to heal wounds from the past. And why that is so important is because the soul journey is to bring in and sit within the subconscious the things that have happened in order to evolve from one lifetime to the next. And this is where it's a really important reminder that the time of our birth is so important. And it's a soul choice. If you believe in only one lifetime, it's still the same. There is a soul choice to a higher choice. Let's put it this way, a higher choice to be born at that exact moment in time. The reason why it's so important is because every single placement of every planet and every star and every comet that makes an impact in this lifetime is so important. So if you know where Chiron sits, you'll be able to know the healing work that needs to be done, and it's all in the blog for you. You can go one step further and you can see the house that Chiron was in at the time of your birth. So when you understand the house, you'll understand the overall energy and impact that it makes in the lessons. So for example, if Chiron is in your first house, it's going to be all about your ego and your personality and the things that you need to work on there. If it is in your seventh house, it's going to be all about relationships with other people. And then you can have a look at the sign that it's in. And that's the work that needs to be done. Now, why has it become so important for me to do all this work and share everything with you about Chiron? It is vitally important because Chiron is in Aries. It moved into Aries right in 2019, just before we started to have the impact of COVID-19. And this is important because Chiron is the healer of all things. So it's the wounds show up physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So when you're doing this work, you actually have the ability to look at the type of injury that happens within your body, the type of illness that you sit with. It's not only the emotional wounds that you carry, but it also, at the time of Chiron, when Chiron is sitting in different places, especially when it's sitting in spaces like Aries, where there's so much work to be done, and there is a heightened level of consciousness in this time because it's so much about self and how we can heal everything. A lot of times we see an entire medical revolution happening. We see scientific breakthrough in health and in wellness and in well-being. And that is why the link between even COVID and Chiron is so important. And we had the time through the whole of Pisces for things to build up for us in order to for us to grow and have the foundation of our belief system so that we could get through this Aries period, we could get through this COVID period with a more solid foundation. If you feel like it was really rocky for you and you really struggled with it, that's okay. Because Chiron, every single time Chiron goes into a space of retrograde or moves or just waits for us to acknowledge the energy of what we need to. Chiron was an incredible healer. And although Chiron doesn't have the ability to heal his own wound, he is there energetically. The Chiron energy is there for us to discover and heal our own wounds. So Chiron stays until 2027 in Aries. And it gives us a really nice amount of time for us to make it about ourselves and understand what it means to heal our wound, heal our own personal wound. And at the same time, as each one of us heals our wounds, there is a collective healing on the planet. We have a retrograde that's happening, and that's why it's become so important for me during this time to share this, because when Chiron goes into retrograde, it gives us the opportunity to look at the shadow of what's going on. And because it stays in a retrograde for a smaller amount of time, no matter even if it's in a really, really small planet, it stays there for a really small time because it gives us the opportunity to go inwards. A retrograde always gives us the opportunity to reflect. And when we are in Chiron retrograde, we can deeply go inwards and we can see the shadow. So that when we are done with that retrograde time, and the retrograde is in the blog, and if I can find it quickly, I will. Otherwise, I'm going to let you know that it is from, there we go, the 15th of July, 2021 to the 19th of December 2021. And that's why I wanted to get this out and get this done so that we can all start to prepare for this Chiron retrograde in Aries that is coming. If you allow yourself to go inwards and do the shadow work, see your shadow, then when it comes out of shadow, you will be able to have an incredible opportunity to do the rest of Chiron, knowing the wound that you need to heal, knowing the work that you need to do, and to really make it consistent in doing it. In my transformation coaching, the very essence of what I do is shadow work. And it's not any level of guesswork. We go right to that time of your birth and we look at your numerology and we look at aspects of your astrology, your sun, your moon, and your rising, your ascending sign. And we have a look at those traits. And in your lifetime, as you have built up your memory that creates the ego and creates the very wound, we can see every single trait and we look at it neutrally and we see whether it's been brought into the light, which will create it as self-worth, or whether it is in the shadow, which is then being protected, and we need to find that wound and help you uncover that wound in order for that healing to be done. Chiron for us, it's really important that we understand that Chiron has its own return within our chart. And if you look at the symbol for Chiron, it's a key. So we hold the key to our healing with the amount of work that we do, so that by the time we get to our Chiron return, which is between the age of 49 and 51, and if you want to know exactly when your Chiron return is, you can look at your chart. But what we are wanting to consciously do is to get the two keys to align. So when you overlay the current astrological chart, when you get to between 49 and 51, at some point, Chiron on the Earth and Chiron at this moment in time will lock. And when they come together, there is an unlocking of wisdom that happens that allows you to go into a deeper space of healing. The thing is, if you have done a lot of the Chiron work, if you have done a lot of the healing work, then by the time you get to 49, 50, the unlocking is calm and it's conscious, and you get to witness your wound and grow from there. But if you haven't done much of the wound, it can be quite an emotional time. But something shifts when Chiron does its return. I am very, very close. I'm 2 and a bit years away from my Chiron return. And that's why I'm so conscious of doing a lot of this work, because of the energy with which I want to know that I've worked on the wound. And I have given myself the opportunity in the second half of my life, no matter how long I live for, just that midway point of this 50, the second half of my Chiron life, to know that I can live within the wisdom of what I've gained from understanding the healing of the wound. And that's what we're trying to do. We will always have the essence of what it is, but at least then we'll have the blueprint and know what that Chiron wound is. So once again, if you do go to the blog, and I've just posted it, so it's there for you. It's all about Chiron. In that blog, it's going to give you your exact year when Chiron was in the place of your birth. And when you understand that, if you know more detail and you also know the time of your birth and you can run a chart, you can also see the house. Then look at the zodiac sign that Chiron was in, and have a look at the house if you're able to do that, and you will then understand what the wound is and the place within your life that it is acting out. Once you have that wisdom, you have the ability to do layers and layers of shadow work. If you feel that you need support in doing the shadow work, then please reach out to me. At the moment, for the remainder of May 2021, on top of the coaching bundle that we already have, which is discounted if you take 4 packages, if you take four sessions at one time, there is an additional 10%. If you go into the payment and in the voucher section, you use the word shadow. If you are getting hold of this and May 2021 is passed, the bundle will always be there to support you. So you will always have the ability to have 4 sessions with me at a special price. And the shadow work is never going to go away. So you can reach out to me at any time. If you are getting this late as well, then the blog post will be in the comments so that you get it. You might be listening to this on YouTube. You might be listening to this on podcast. The exact blog post that you need is in the comment section. Please be sure to follow me, stay connected with me on any platform that works best for you, so that I can help and support you through your shadow journey in all aspects of your life. I am deeply passionate about guiding people from the bravery to see their shadow, to change and do something different in order to bring about transformation. And if you do enough transformation within your life, you will be able to transcend these wounds, and you will be able to use them as an opportunity to witness through the rest of your life and just grow with the depth of witnessing how that wound has served you and helped you to evolve. Thank you so much for all the support that you give to me. And I want to also encourage you to reach out to me. This Chiron day happened because people were asking me, what's happening with the energy? Why is it like this? Why is there so much suffering? Why are we feeling this? And the impact that Chiron makes is very important. Please make sure to diarize the shadow time of Chiron, which is the 15th of July to the 19th of December, because as things come up, if you're not aware, it could really feel chaotic for you. And lastly, do follow me on any of the social networks. I'm Jodine Sher everywhere. And that is so important because I'm consistently doing energy updates once a month. And I'm also doing energy updates every week to give you the weekly numerology, astrology, a bit of tarot, and a message for money. You can also connect with me on Clubhouse, because in Clubhouse, I'm consistently there going live in order for me to give you the opportunity to make all of this personal for you. Take care of yourselves, look after yourselves. Stay safe, stay bold and brave, and look out for the next person who needs a little bit of guidance and support. We are all beautiful mirrors to each other. Take care.